Shit, I gotta work on my timing. That sucks. All right. How you doing, the good people? And hello to the bad people, friends and enemies. Base back with you. I bring you the Precursor. And we do this every Wednesday right here. You catch me on the Chris Base channel. That's CHRIS, well, ZTHE, and then CHRIS. B is in broadcasting, ASECHANNEL with a dot and in a channel. Make sure you pass it around. Everybody know about it. They may not know, but help them out. Like Barbie is definitely on the Chris Base channel. How you doing? A Wednesday afternoon greetings to you. Let's see, and also Thanksgiving season greetings to one and all, and the same to you, Barbara Jean. The same to everybody as well. Pre-Thanksgiving, so everybody getting on board to get ready for the festivities when it comes down to Thanksgiving and the holiday season, inviting family and friends over to eat, to participate. Don't be late. If you're going to be late, bring something. Unfortunate news by the time we're about to hit the air, but two National Guardsmen from West Virginia have been shot in Washington, D.C. The conditions are unknown, according to West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey. Morrisey earlier said that the gunmen were believed to be dead, but then said on social media that there were quote unquote conflicting reports about their conditions. The shooting occurred in downtown Washington, D.C. today, according to a familiar source with the early reports and a law enforcement official. The two National Guardsmen engaged in gunfire with the suspected shooter, prior to being shot, according to two law enforcement sources. The sources said the suspect was detained and transported away from the scene on a stretcher. Law enforcement officials are not tracking any other victims on Wednesday's shooting beyond the two National Guard officers and the suspect, according to a source familiar with the investigation. DC Metropolitan Police said on X that the scene is secure and one suspect is in custody. They advise people to avoid the area. A woman who was near the scene of the shooting told CNN she heard gunshots and saw a bunch of people administering CPR to people who were on the ground. So I've been waiting for a Facebook Live. Okay. Let's see. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Okay, try that. Okay. So let's see. So want some text stuff right here. So the Facebook should be up now. Let me try this out. See, I don't get the big hit like before. Okay. Okay, there I go. Okay, so now I'm on Facebook Live. I have to do a little couple of things here. Okay, so there you go with that. So Facebook Live is up in full effect. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to one sick Diggy. How you doing? Thanks for being here, brother. And there goes Barbara Jean on the Facebook Live. So there we go. So got that cool beans. Let's see. Hey, we're talking to Barbara Jean. I ain't got nothing to do with me. I forgot. I don't know why I clicked that by mistake. We had these random conversations between other people in the in the peanut gallery there. It got nothing to do with my ass at all. So I'm sorry to interfere with that conversation there. Oh, you're more than welcome, Barbara Jean. Thank you. Hold on a second. Well, what's up, Omar? So hello, Chris. Happy pre-Thanksgiving Eve. Hold on 1 second, everybody. I don't know if you can hear it in the distant background because I'm down here in the base cave. Upstairs, of course, everybody's getting ready, of course, to cook for Thanksgiving dinner. I myself am going to bake a strawberry cake. My 4-year-old niece, who does not think she's 4, that's the problem. She don't think she's 4 at all. Cries as though somebody is taking a knife to her 4-year-old body. And I've heard children cry before. Hell, I raised 2 daughters. But she cries like, I'm telling you, you think I'm bullshitting. Is DCFS going to come knocking on our door? Somebody's abusing this baby in this house, which is not the case. She just happens to scream bloody murder. So it's funny because it was quiet up to this point. As soon as I sign on, it's goddamn ridiculous. I'm not saying she times it out to my program, but still, though, got some strong ass lungs. I wish he was my age. I wish he was a guy. I wish he was my nephew because I would kick his ass. I would. Oy vey. Let's see. Sig ask, how have you been? Base, how's your November thus far? All right. I mean, not too shabby. It's going by pretty quick this year as we approach, of course, December coming up right around the corner. And, of course, the festivities of holiday greetings and holiday seasonings in the food and in the air. A nice baseball jersey. Thank you. Yeah, trying to represent giving love to the Negro League. The one I have on dedicates to the late, great Josh Gibson. Let's see. I get some of these comments here. Oh, yeah, I actually do hear that. I was wondering if there was a child making a ruckus. Yeah, it's my 4-year-old niece who don't think she's 4 making a ruckus. Uh, yeah. So let's see what else y'all got. I'm trying to. I know some of these comments are not in between y'all having conversations there. Her parents should put her in a church choir with those lungs. I don't really care anymore what they do, but they got to get her quiet. Put in a figure 4 leg lock or something, man. Because it's getting ridiculous. It really is. And I love my daughter. I love my daughters. Like, for example, we mentioned my daughters was because I was trying to have a conversation with my daughters about my niece. So they were like, well, daddy knows she's 4. Well, no, fuck 4. You know what you're doing at 4 years old. No, really. And I'm a different man than what I was when I had my 2 girls. And in particular, I was talking to my oldest daughter, Brianna, about it. Well, dad, you should let it go. No, it's something you just can't let go because you see a child's development of their mind. And the development of the mind, of course, is very crucial. And it's critical, I dare say. So anything that's negative or, dare I say, to the point of manipulative at that age, that has to be nipped in the bud immediately. It does. Really. And it just gets on my nerve. Because I told you, I'm the stage in my life right now, quiet. Shut up, quiet, quiet. Now, what can I say? I like peace and quiet. Wait a second. I'm going to look up Josh Gibson. Thank you, Base. I now have something new to learn about. The Negro League was a fascinating league in its own. There's a movie that came out years ago called Soul of the Game with, let's see, so Michael T. Williamson played Gibson, And then you had who else in that movie? It was in fact, let me look it up real quick. Okay, so it came out in 1996. Delroy Lindo played Satchel Paige. Blair Underwood played Jackie Robinson, and Michael T. Williamson played Josh Gibson. And so Josh Gibson was quote unquote nicknamed the Black Babe Ruth, and hit, they said, more home runs than Babe Ruth. So you notice over the years, the Major League Baseball have incorporated Negro League records. So Soul the Game deals with these three men being recruited for one of them to come into the major leagues. Great, great movie. So let me go back to the comment section here. Hey, what up, Shaggy, my man Shaggy Jenkins? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Happy pre-Thanksgiving to you and your family, man. How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm trying to get Shaggy on the show, but I know Shaggy, you live all the way in Honolulu, Maui. Do you still live in the Maui area? Last I checked, we did a show together, and Shaggy was very grateful for me to come on and partner with him. He worked there at a radio station there in Maui. I can't think of the caller. Of course, you worked there, of course, and I was just tagging along. But we had timed up and got into a great hour program discussing politics and the like. And I missed that. I missed that. So I know, Shaq, you're doing your own thing, but I got to catch up and link up with your brother and try to get you back on in some way, shape, or form. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Jed? It says, big ups, Innova. Okay, see, hold on a second. See, Innova, you guys must see these people before I do. I don't see Innova at all in in the peanut gallery. So it's a big ups to Innova, or just mention her in general. So let's see, big ups to Innova and anyone else responsible for Turkey Day tomorrow. Uh, Feel you on the what's that, fam boundaries. My cousins are a task. Yeah, before I go any further, prayers to the two West Virginia guardsmen who got shot. So let's keep them in our prayers. And it is sad because it's the holiday season, and now they're doing their job, and they get shot. There were conflicting reports because the governor was saying was saying Patrick Morrissey was saying that both of them were dead, and they're not. So now conflicting reports. So what we got so far before we hit the air was that they got shot and they're in the hospital, and the shooter. The two West Virginia National Guardsmen. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrissey again had just for the record, because I remember watching it in real time about an hour or so ago, reading the article saying that these two were dead and they were not. Let's see. I seen Soul the Game. It's a good movie. I don't know why they show it on cable anymore. Well, you know how that goes, Omar. You got to get rights, or maybe they deem that it's not necessarily a film to watch. Uh, they feel that, I don't know. That's a good question. I just think that some of these cable stations always try to skew younger, always try to skew for a certain demographic that they want to get in their programming. So maybe it's not a rotation. I've not seen it in years. I remember it was on cable back in 1996, but I haven't seen it since. Go back to the Soul of the Game. So let's see. What does it say? And a man needs some peace and quiet. I can't speak for every man. I know I do. I do. Yeah, get that peace and quiet. Absolutely. So when I was watching MS Now, and they had a good point I want to bring it further on the program here about news that gets out early and people who want to have news first. Everybody does it. Social media, news companies, stations, the whole nine. They want to be the first to report it, and that's how they're taught, of course, to be the first to report it. But get your facts straight. Get them completely straight before you utter your mouth or put it down the paper or put it into a computer or send it out there. Because one person made a very good point was about going back to West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrissey, that because he has his phone on him, he's his own PR person. So there's nobody to correct him. So he gets on there and says the two guardsmen are dead, and they weren't. They had conflicting reports on what's going on for real. So there was another person on the panel that was talking about working with Intel, that you make sure you have all your ducks in a row, all your cross references, all your information, all your I's dot, T's crossed, and then come forward to the public. That's how you do it. That's how we do it. I mean, in media, that's how I do it before I go on the program here while I'm in the air. And I am information has to be vital. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be steadfast on that. So again, you just can't come on here, whether it's people in the comment section or people who call in, or even myself. Uh, to give information is very important, and to also realize that when you have a reputation of information, you want to make sure you do it thoroughly, that you're doing it correctly, that your reputation is like, okay, if I know Base had on her show, I know it's a fact. Or I know if she had on her show, it's a fact. There should be some pride in your work, and that's the rep you don't want to have. Not to be trusted. That sucks. Also, you want to call into the program 312-597-2106. The difference between doing this program and do Baseline is that this is not really a free your mind program. We stick with the topics at hand. Now, Baseline stick with topics at hand, and you can add some more stuff to it. But here we're pretty much sticking with the topics at hand. That's the difference. So don't, if you call in or ask for a link, don't stray away from what we're talking about here. And it pains me because stories like this, especially during this time of year, not saying other stories don't hit, but it hits a little harder because you think about the people who got shot who are doing their job. Of course, nobody expects anything like this. One source on television said that this was specifically targeted manner. So it didn't go into specifics of who was being the target. My guess would be Trump. That's my guess. But it was a targeted situation from the shooter. And going back to these people who are just doing their job and they had to go through something like this, especially around the holiday season, it hits more, and it hits differently as well as should. Uh, Going back to the story, the two National Guardsmen engaged in gunfire with the suspected shooter prior to being shot, according to two law enforcement sources. The sources said that the suspect was detained and transported once again away from the scene on a stretcher. Law enforcement officials are not tracking any other victims of today's shooting beyond the two National Guard officers and the suspect. The circumstances of the shooting are not immediately clear. Joint Task Force, DC, and National Guard office responsible for organizing the Guard mission to Washington, D.C. confirmed in a statement that several of its members were involved in the shooting near the Farragut West Metro Station, adding that it is working with DC police and other law enforcement agencies. 47 was briefed on the shooting and weighed in on the incident on Truth Social. The animal that shot these two National Guardsmen is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price, 47 said on this post. You know, you got to be all big time and his chest out. Vice President J.D. Vance, during remarks at an event in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, called for prayers for the National Guardsmen, who he said were in critical condition at the time. The shooting is a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, are soldiers, are the sword, not sword, the sword and the shield of the United States of America. And it's funny, I do know people who say the word sword. National Guard troops from multiple states have been in Washington, D.C. for months as part of Trump's anti-crime crackdown in national capital, the nation's capital, which has since expanded to other cities across the country, as you know. Trump's mobilized the National Guard in August, and the troops were authorized to conduct law enforcement activities. You know, it's going from city to city and things of that nature. Of course, here in Chicago, too, you know, L.A. and there in D.C., colossal waste. It was 19th century journalism and editor, was it Joseph Pulitzer, who emphasized the importance of accuracy in one's reporting. Jed, not Jed, that's sick at type. See, I'm messing up already. This is Jed. But they said on Fox, you need those 5 W's beforehand. Ongoing doesn't get clicks. Sad, Jed Tice. Thank you, Jed, and again, thank you, Sick Diggy. Pride in journalism has been out the window for a long time, since the internet has been part of our lives and social media. Because anybody can go on social media and type something and then go from there. I have a good friend of mine, Lisa E., who's a great producer over the years in radio and beyond, and is a great friend of mine. And the one thing we talk about is when, for example, celebrities die and pass away, people get on their social media sites and want to be the first one. Want to be the first one. It's not about being the first one, it's being accurate in your story and getting information. I mean, God love him. I know he's going through a lot right now medically. You know how many times Sinbad died on the internet? I mean, he's died a lot. Even Sinbad would tell you that, the comedian. I mean, good goddamn night. So you cannot depend on the social media depending on, you have to pick and choose. You have to pick and choose what information you get to make sure it's accurate. And the sources you come from, the sources you check out, the sources that provide consistent information that is accurate. Yo, yourself, hello, Christopher. How you doing? Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Cash. In his little outfit. Yeah, I saw that talking earlier. Uh, talking goofy was my tolerance point. Thanks for your coverage. Well, thank you, Jed. I appreciate that. I try, man. I try. It's too much misinformation in the world as is already. A lot of it, and that's why we're confused as a nation. Completely confused. Because a lot of people just take this shit going upstream, and that's not the case at all. Far from it. Far from it. It does make you wonder what's true and what's not true. And that's entirely up to you, of course. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene built a reputation in Congress as a fighter, first as a defender of Trump, and more recently as someone who clashed with him. So Greene's decision to resign from the House after publicly disagreeing with the president came as a surprise to some of her home state, to some of the home state of Georgia, who say it goes against the character for the Republican. They believe Greene could have withstood some pressure, have been reelected to the House, even without the president's backing. Greene's decision to Greene's decision has raised questions about the strength of Trump's hold in a narrowly divided Congress, even as he touts his party's unity ahead of next year's midterm elections. It also has prompted speculation about what may be next for Greene, who was first elected to the House in 2020 and was the forefront of Trump's MAGA movement. Greene quickly became a lightning rod on Capitol Hill for her often beyond mainstream views, but she angered Trump on some recent issues, including by pushing the release of the files of the sexual abuser of Jeffrey Epstein. Before Greene announced her resignation in a video late Friday, Trump branded her a traitor and a wacky. Okay, yeah. Let that marinate from the person who says it. As he has done in previous election cycles about lawmakers he viewed as disloyal, Trump said he would endorse a challenger seeking to to primary her next year. In a resignation announcement video, Greene said she didn't want her district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president we all fought for. But the Georgia Republican strategist Brian Robinson, who worked for one of Greene's primary opponents in her 2020 House race, said he believes she could have won. Trump's attention is going to be divided in a million different ways in the spring of 2026, and she's got goodwill, he said. Georgians are that rare American breed who have rejected Trump's suggestions in the primary and done so by fairly stark margins. Well, first of all, you gotta get credit where credit's due. Congratulations to Miss Greene, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Marjorie to step away. And I think she knows the handwriting on the wall for the Republicans coming up. We saw what happened in elections there in New York, New Jersey, and you've seen it already. We've seen this wave of people who are tired of Trump and Trump's representation on the ballot ticket. And they're speaking. Well, hell, even before all this, the No Kings demonstrations from coast to coast was glorious. I'll say to be the first to admit, sometimes I don't have faith in our nation, but that changed my mind watching that coverage of watching all these great people coming forward with their signs and their animated Trump faces and caricatures and things like that. It was glorious. It really was. And that's what it's all about. The power of the people, the power of the voice of people. It goes a long way. And dare I say, when you continue that, it can be extremely powerful because it will work. We already shown that it has worked in these past elections. So with the midterms coming up, oh yeah, there's going to be some changes. Change is happening now. Change. Remember when Barack Obama was running for the presidency and he kept saying that change has come to America? Change is the inevitable. Change happens whether you like it or not. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's just life. Life be lifing, as I always say the young folks say, which is a truism. It makes all the sense in the world to me. Come here, Mike. Get you together here. There you go. So, I mean, either fall in line or get left behind. That's what happens. whatever happened to states' rights? Who is he to determine who a particular state, county, or city slash town can elect to represent them? Well, yeah, he thinks that way, as you know, sick because of the fact that look at the redistricting he's been doing in Texas and try to do in other states. He's pushing the goal post. He's pushing it. So that way can control or try to have control. I'm glad that Governor Newsom there in California was able to get that out the way. You know, he pretty much blocked that and good. And just all this power that he is wielding, not for the country, but for himself. Again, this wannabe dictators, wannabe thug, wannabe, mafia, a Teflon Don. No wonder he thinks he's all that because what he dodged, 34 counts, all types of lawsuits, but 2 to 3 indictments. So yeah, he said, and people forget sometimes that just because you're indicted does not mean you can leave the office as president. See, you always go footnote back to Nixon. Nixon's like, okay, I'm out of here. As history dictates, the Republicans then in the 70s, the whole Watergate scandal at the White House, and of course at the hotel, the tapes. So the Republicans was like, Mr. President, in order for us to have some sort of honor, you have to step down from office. We implore you to step down from office. Of course, he fought a little bit from what history dictates, but he did step down. Of course, Gerald Ford became president. That famous, 2-finger salute, getting into Air Force One and then into plane and taking off. But see, that's him. He decided to dictate that move to step down. Now, even Bill Clinton was indicted and he stayed in office. So your indictment does not mean you have to step down from your position. The thing about all of that is there's nothing that phases this man whatsoever, nothing, because he doesn't care. Remember just a while back, they had a presser and the gentleman, they were talking about health care and things of that nature there. HR, RFK Jr. was there and some other dignitary, Dr. Oz, he's a part of the administration, and that still gives me the willies. And the man passed out, and Trump stood up and did nothing. He looked at the guy, looked back at the camera, did not near a damn thing to help out, to assist, to not even to call 911 or call the medics, nothing like that. Just let the man lay there. Now, if that doesn't show you the man doesn't give a fuck, I don't know what does. He keeps showing you over and over again who he is, all the time, and people still want to continue to support this man. But see, the one thing Trump did give was give us the nickname Trader Brown. MTG realizes she is less rich and now needs the real world. Thank you, Jed. What is her political future? We don't know yet. My guess is run for the presidency. That's my guess. Go for your boss's job. Now we know he can't run a third term, even though once again that's been speculative. I was talking to the mad scientist, the one who creates my openings for my show on Baseline and for CBI. We were talking to my man Cole Johnson. If the government and people who are part of Project 2025 in particular, who are using Trump to get their agendas into play here, if they get out the Constitution and rewrite it, which is possible, I know it's scary. I know it's like, well, that's the Constitution. Nobody can touch that. I don't know now. This administration has shown more than the average bear, they want to do the most. They want to do the most. They want to be a part of everything. So who's to say that they won't try to make him president forever? That you take away the terms, take away the limits of a president. So they can't do 2 terms. They can just keep on staying in office until they die. It is possible. What's up, N says, good afternoon, Chris and Base Nation. Thank you, Annabelle Ingram. Of course, Annabelle and her brother Mark are the what boys and girls? That's right, the official chefs of this program and, of course, Baseline. So, especially since we're on the pre-Thanksgiving situation, what are you guys cooking for Thanksgiving? Talking to Annabelle, of course, and her brother. I know they're going to, of course, tag team and make that happen. This whole thing is it's tiring. I mean, I know about you. I'm exhausted. And like I said before, I would get ill physically talking about Trump in his first term. I don't know what to feel now because I'm numb to a degree, but I'm not surprised. Because again, as my dad always said, God rest his soul, when a person shows you their ass, that's who they are. So he's been showing his ass a lot, going back to 47. And once again, this keeps getting worse and worse. December's coming up, obviously, so it's going to be the Kennedy Center Honors Awards will be on, I believe, CBS. The host of it, Donald Trump. A sitting president is going to host the Kennedy Center Honor Awards. Don't you have a life being president? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, dude. Wrong person, wrong dude. You had to be a grown up first. You have to grow up in the mind, which apparently he has not done at all. Really? And again, to insert yourself into everything is beyond sick. Like this, for example. Rush Hour 4 is in works reportedly after 47 lobbied Paramount Skydance shareholder Larry Ellison on behalf of director Brett Ratner. Multiple outlets report that Paramount is reviving the Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker action comedy franchise with Ratner, director of the original film in 1998, returning to the helm. The move comes after prodding from Trump on behalf of Ratner. Puck's Matthew Maloney wrote on X. Per The Guardian, Trump 79 lobbied for a Rush Hour 4 with Ellison, a billionaire, and the father of Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison. David's father, Larry, is the company's largest shareholder. You see, all this ties in. If Paramount Skydance sounds familiar, that's the company that now owns CBS. Remember, Paramount Skydance had to get permission to get the deal, SEC licensing from Brendan Carr, who is the CEO and he runs the SEC, who's the chairman, and cut the deal. In order for that to happen, meaning Skydance, you get rid of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And not only that, you get rid of the whole show. That's what gets me. You get rid of the host and make sure that the Late Show is never on the air ever again on network television as we know it. Gone. That's probably somewhere else in the future we don't know. And the Late Show is owned by David Letterman. So that knocks out his legacy from that perspective. to make sure no other host, I guess, comes after Colbert to make fun of the president. See all that ties in? So now Rush Hour 4, don't get me wrong, for the people involved like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker and the team back to work, cool, cool. Go on and get your bag. But from the standpoint of Trump being involved, because he got on his soapbox and was talking shit and was saying that Rush Hour 4 needs to be made, but there's a connect because going back to the whole Paramount Skydance connection, that the movie now it's up and running. Sad. Very sad. Okay. All right. So here we go. Oh man, it's like I gotta make sure I can see this. Okay. Today's menu. Mark is cooking with what's that? Cooking Polish with grilled onions and spaghetti. Drink homemade lemonade. Thanksgiving Day menu: honey baked ham and sweet brown sugar and sweet pineapple sauce. Oyster bread dressing. Mashed potatoes. Cranberry. What was that? Cranberry sauce slice and steamed corn on the cob, homemade flaky biscuits and butter, dessert, sweet potato pie, and vanilla ice cream. So, of course, this is tonight's menu and tomorrow's menu, of course, Thanksgiving. So, again, for the cheap seats, Mark, Mark is cooking. Polish with grilled onions and spaghetti. Drink homemade lemonade, Thanksgiving Day. Honey baked ham with sweet brown sugar and sweet pineapple sauce, oyster bread dressing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce sliced, steamed corn on the cob, homemade flaky biscuits with butter, dessert, sweet potato pie with vanilla ice cream. All right. Nice. See, that's how you do it. Let's see. The fastest hands in the East and the biggest mouth in the West do not need the Orange and Chief to work out another Rush Hour film. It's just attention seeking behavior on the part of 47. Well, that's correct, Sig. Absolutely. I would rather have them do on their own because there's always been a Rush Hour 4 discussion, social media or interviews I've seen with Jackie Chan or Chris Tucker, and they don't know because they haven't got it greenlit until now because of the interference of 147. And of course, again, Paramount Skydance. And so I said this before because of the Kennedy Center Honors going to be aired this upcoming December and 47 will be hosting it. I still wonder how the LGBTQ plus community feels about Gloria Gaynor, who has contributed over the years money to Trump and Trump's campaign over the years. It's her money. She do what she want to do with it. But to be the voice of their community's "I Will Survive" mantra, "I Will Survive" is one of their proud songs of all time. That gives them, of course, hope and everything else. And they found out that their person who sang the song is a Trump supporter. Now, can they separate the two? Is the question. I've not seen anything online or I read anything about online about the LGBTQ plus community's reaction to that. But I would say yes and no from the standpoint of a conflict is concerned because once again, Gloria Gaynor can do anything she wants to with her money, anything she wants to do. It's her money. And that JG Wempler commercial. It's your money. Do what you want to do with it. And she does. It's like anybody else. But because the temperature of this country, as I keep saying, and so many people are anti-Trump, especially people in that community and their song, would they feel some sort of way? if they know already or find out that Gloria Gaynor singing I Will Survive is a Trump supporter. I mean, think about that. Show the changes in Trump. This was reported on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell on MS Now. In 2017, first year of his term, Mr. Trump scheduled events around 10:31 a.m. on average. By contrast, Mr. Trump, in his second term, has started events in the afternoon on an average of 12:08 p.m. His events end on an average at around the same time as they did during his first year of his first term, shortly after 5 p.m. The number of Trump total official appearances has decreased by 39%. Think about that. Again, Trump's total official appearances has decreased by 39%. And again, that came from The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell on last night's MS Now program. I mean, get that. That's a lot. 39% is a lot, especially somebody like him who loves being on camera, who relishes it, who loves the power, the spotlight, all eyes on me type of thing. And he's down 39%. Why? Because he's old. He's old. One of the pressers that he had at the White House, you see the man falling asleep. I told you before, the overall gall to talk about Sleepy Joe and Joe Biden when he was president. And your ass in there going to sleep calling hogs. I mean, just the overall gall of the whole thing. Because you're old, you need your nap. Look, I sit here in front. I like a nap. I have no problem with a nap. Please. Naps are vital. They they definitely are a game changer. Shoot, man, I have no problem with that at all. Yeah, but that guy in the White House, please. Makes no sense whatsoever. Keep going on and on and on. And like I said, it's the projection thing that he, meaning 47, puts on other people, but it's about him. So when you talk about Sleepy Joe, we're also referring to again the former president Joe Biden, that's him. That he's a Sleepy Joe. When he was running for the presidency, going against Hillary Clinton, such a nasty woman. No, you're the nasty woman. You're the nasty one. Talking about grabbing women by the pussy and stuff like that. You're the nasty woman. So all these things that he mentions is really about himself. It's projection of himself onto others. Former radio Chicago personality Jobo Colburn from the famed Eddie and Jobo show has died at the age of 70. Officers responded to his home in Freeport, Illinois, Monday. The Stevenson County Coroner's Office confirmed to WGN News that Colburn died Monday, but did not provide a cause of death. Colburn was 70 years old. Colburn also went by his last name, Bohannon, when he was on the air. Best known as the longtime duo of Eddie and Jobo, which started at B96 in 1986. They were widely popular, and listeners loved their regular bits in the morning. Their antics were brought back to life in various parody skits on WGN Morning News over the years by Mike Tomey and Jeff Hoover. Jobo's partner Eddie Volkman was recently at WGN to discuss their careers, and the first time he saw the parody, Volkman shared the following message with WGN News. I only got the news from his family when I got home from work today. I'm devastated and I'm emotional wreck. They are investigating. I will have more to tell us tomorrow. They'll tell us then. Having gained a golden voice today. So back in the day, listening to radio here in Chicago, not knocking it down, I'm not. Just when I was a youth, listening to Chicago radio was fantastic. It inspired me and others to go on the radio. Radio here in Chicago was like being a movie star. You go to certain restaurants, you see their pictures on the wall, stuff like that. It was just, man. And Eddie and Jobo on B96 in the 80s. And this during the time where you had people like Doug Banks and Tom Joyner, Jonathan Brandmeier, Stephen Gary, some heavy hitters. I mean, they to hold your own in a sea of those people, you really know what the fuck you were doing. And they did. I remember when Jobo was on evenings on B96 as a solo jock. He was great. And then they were able to come together because Eddie was doing mornings, and then they were able to pair up, and the rest they say is history. Let's see. Let me go here. Surely the LGBTQ plus folks will have still have share. Either way, that's their opinion, whether or not to still support Miss Gaynor. Sick type. Well, like I said, we'll see. I'm interested in their thoughts about that. How do you feel about social media being held accountable for teens to take over in downtown area? Some aldermen want this, and others want a standard curfew. Your thoughts, Edward Types? If you let social media influence you, which is why you have social media influencers, then you have to pay the price for it. If you're talking about the kids, of course, the teens that went downtown, I think everybody wants to point the blame and see where the blame comes from that perspective is concerned. And I also believe that you have to be accountable for your actions. And you and I both know, and other people on the program here who are older or remember before we ever had social media, that people were influenced by others, what they read, what they saw on TV, what they watched in the movies, and such forth. So any one of us could be influenced by something, but how far does it go? How far do we let it go? And how far will other people let us do that for it to go far in the first place? So when you mentioned the question about social media and being held accountable for teens that take over in the downtown area, the teens should be responsible for that. Because you could blame social media on live long day. You could blame anybody. Like the situation, unfortunately, where they jumped the mother and her 8 and 9 year old son, jumped them. They jumped them and beat them. And then there was a video I told you before where one of the children was making a viral video of apology. Half-ass apology. No, you're sorry you got caught. We know the routine. Because if you, first of all, you should never done it in the first place. That's first and foremost. And the idea and overall gall to even think of you being in grammar school and a child to gang up on a mother and her child Pure evil. I'm sorry. That's what I got. Pure evil. Now, in this situation of pure evil, yeah, they gotta be responsible. Something has to happen to them. Being minor, put them in jail for a couple of days or something. Do a Scared Straight. Remember the series Scared Straight, where you had these young guys and teenagers who thought they were all that. They had some real prisoners talking to them, and then there was some reality shows of juvenile delinquents who stayed in prison for like a few days or maybe a week or something like that. Do something like that. Get into a program where they can really feel what it's like to be a criminal. Have them have some responsibility, because if not, they'll get off light because they're minors. So you can't charge them with anything. They'll go back on the street and do worse. We we were able to lay hands and beat up people this time. The next time we can kill them. What's happening to us? We're minors. These kids are smart. Know what the hell they're doing. All premeditated. All of it. Well, a little bit of the video that I saw on the news is sickening. Just the fact that they would just go have, once again, you lost whatever you had of your mind to beat up a mother and their child. And once again, the child had complained about being bullied. And of course, people have had to complain to the school. But then you want to turn around and play crazy. I mean, the school administration, oh, we didn't know anything about that. Yes, you did. Not everybody's talking about it. It got on the news and social media, things like that. Now, where do you go from here if you're at the school? You have other, you can run, but you can't hide. That show Rule. That's where I learned the vernacular. Well, you got tossing salad, Jared Tice. Yeah, I like that show. You get these, wannabe thugs, roughnecks, and they'll put them in jail for like a few days. I think the most I ever saw was a week, and or overnight, depending on the program. Oh my God! When they showed the after stories of some of these kids, they did change their lives and do better. Some, of course, backslid a little bit. That's always going to happen. But overall, I remember one time I was watching one of those shows. They had them scrub up, like clean up the kitchen and the sink and everything else, scrub all the way down. They went to sleep for an hour. Then the guards came back, woke them up, get up and go clean this too. So I guess it was some other part of the kitchen. Clean it up. I don't sleep for an hour. Woke them up. They kept doing that the whole night. The whole night. It's one time, there's one guy, they picked him up from the bed. We had a good sleep. Look at his face. Look at that slob on the side of his face. He was sleeping good. Well, your ass is waiting now. Get your ass in. And that's what they did. I mean, they couldn't do that. An hour, if you work and you go to bed for an hour ain't nothing. You can't even make a dent in sleep. You can't even snore right. It feels like this. You wake up, put your head on the pillow for a couple of seconds, and you wake up and say, what the hell? And that's what they were doing with them. It was vainglorious. It was great. I love every minute of it, Doc. and you need programs like that. You really do. Try to save our children. Hell, they need to save themselves. They need to want to be saved. I mean, good night. Oh man. So again, I'm talking about Eddie and Jobo passing away of the great morning radio team on B96. They got in trouble too back in the day too. They had a lawsuit because they claimed that a local newscaster was impregnated by a Chicago bull. I remember that. They got in trouble. And the station they worked for was owned by CBS. I think it's still owned by CBS. So there was a lawsuit by the anchor. Her name, oh, I'll get in a second. But I remember the basketball player's name was Horace Grant of the Bulls. I think it was Joan Esposito. At the time, Joan was working at Channel 7. She does talk radio now here on WCPT. Great host. But she had a lawsuit and then sued, of course, them, the program director, the parent company, the whole nine, to the point where they were taken off the air and they went to another market for, I don't want to say Philadelphia, somewhere like that, and then had come back to Chicago. But the deal was they had to be pre-recorded, so they weren't live anymore. So they would pre-record their bits and then put it out for airtime. Horace Grant, were they sure it wasn't Horace's twin brother Harvey? No, it was Horace. Because Horace played here in Chicago with the championship Bulls run. No, it was Horace. It was, I never forget, it was Horace, and Jonas Esposito was the news anchor they're referring to. So both those names had come up. And of course it wasn't true. But they got sued. But when they made a return, everything they did in the mornings was pre-recorded. So it can be checked out and edited before they can air it during the morning. So they would go there, do their show, had it checked out by the program director, wherever he was, and then it will fit for air, then go in. Who recalls reform schools along the past for kids involved in truancy? Well, yeah, that was the past though. I know a lot of people remember it. But again, you let the guardrails down sometimes. This is what you get. I mean, these kids are smart. They know how the game is when it comes to law enforcement because they're minors. So, ooh, wait. So we're going to part coming a little bit, but I wanted to have one question with you before we get into the holiday season. Okay, so you had to pick one Thanksgiving meal that you can eat, just one, not two, not three, not whatever, just one out of the menu there on Thanksgiving. What would you eat? What would it be for you? Now, me automatically is dressing. My mom fixes the best meat dressing that I ever tasted in my life. So the meat dressing is fixed separately and of course stuffed into the bird. It's a very spicy dressing at that, with spicy meat. It is delicious. And I'm late to the party to a degree because my dad, God rest his soul, my dad during Thanksgiving and Christmas, he would get a separate plate by himself of this dressing and would eat it. He would get a plate of it and get down with it, a whole separate meal. So I was never into dressing like that. I had a little dressing when I was coming up, and with the bird, with some turkey, a little bit of dressing, get the canned cranberry sauce on it, and go to town, and then whatever else we had to go along with it. But ooh wee, no, I never messed with it until I just started eating this dressing by itself about, I would say, 10 years ago. So my mom was fixing it. I said, okay, let me give it a shot because I mean, remember I told you my dad would eat it for years separately. I tried that and I haven't looked back since. Have not looked back since. So I could pick one meal out of Thanksgiving to eat. It was like pick one, and that's gonna be it. My mom's dressing, hands down. Not even afterthought. Everything that's on there. I mean, you got turkey, and of course, we have beef roast and greens, and what was that, corn and everything else. Oh my God! But yeah, meat, the meat dressing, hands down. So, what would you have? So, again, before you part company, type in there. I know you don't want to call in. I know you don't want to get the link and everything else, but call if you feel like it. I'll take it. We know how you guys get. Like, I don't feel like calling stuff like that. You know how you get. So, in the comment section, type the one meal that you would have from Thanksgiving. It could be anything, but it has to be one. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait. Don't. You know, no, the reason why I'm doing this is because first of all, it's Thanksgiving, obviously. Second of all, I know how my audience is about food. Because every time it's about food, everybody starts talking about food. So don't get quiet now. I refuse to accept it because you guys talk about food. Oh my god, it's off to a whole different universe. So this fact that it's quiet now, that's disturbing. Because we talk about food here. That gets everybody going. It's a it's provocative. It gets the people going. See, that's what I'm talking. See, he gets it. What's up, Lorenzo? Happy Thanksgiving to you. So you would have cornbread dressing. Okay, there you go. Cornbread dressing would be the one he'll select from his Thanksgiving menu. So again, from your Thanksgiving menu, if you could pick one meal to eat, what would it be? I told you mine would be my mom's meat dressing, Lorenzo type cornbread dressing for himself. And thank you again for Lorenzo for stepping forward. See, there you go, just that easy. And again, I know my audience. I think because I know over the years when I talk about food, everybody go for broke. Go for broke. Mama made? Oh yeah. Well, mother always put that love in the food. They put the hard work, they put the love in it. You know it's good. So like today in our household, my sister is cooking. So my sister and my brother-in-law, they're cooking. My mom's helping out. We had two different types of dressings. So my sister's family don't eat pork, but my mom still eats pork from time to time. And so the meat dressing has some pork in it. So my sister picks two different types of dressing, my mom's original, and then the one she fixes for her family without the pork in it. So I'll be fixing the strawberry cake once I get it off the air. So I'll wait a little bit, take a little rest, then go in there and fix the strawberry cake. So that's my contribution. As far as I know, they might ask me to do some more stuff, but as far as I know right now. And so my nephew Caleb is fixing a chocolate cake. I'm fixing a strawberry cake. I believe we also have some sweet potato pies. So yeah, the menu's coming along. But again, pick one item. Let's see. Stuffing really sets the plate. I put myself in charge after one bad year, but yeah, whoever makes the gravy wins my heart. Oh, there you go. After my wife Vicky passed away, I spent probably I think the next three holidays with my good friends Ken and Claire, who I've known for a lot of years. And Claire is a cook. So what's interesting was I'll go to their house for dinner, say for example Thanksgiving, and there will be these gravy boats by the table. So you put, of course, you get your meal together, and I just love putting that gravy on it. Oh my God, that set everything off. Mm, that did it. Let's see, strawberry and chocolate cakes. Ooh, we talk about a sweet choose overload. Hey man, gotta pace yourself. Gotta pace yourself. Okay, so that's a link, Lorenzo, to your site. What was it about Thanksgiving? Here comes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you see that when you have time, click over to Lorenzo's site about Thanksgiving. You can see there through the comment section there. Yeah, sweetie tooth. Sick. Yeah, a lot of sweetie tooth going on. Yep. Not a sweet potato pie person. I'm not into sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie. It's not really my thing. Pies, for me, will be up in the area of like cheesecake. pies, stuff like that, and chocolate pies, like the fluffy, like chocolate mousse type of thing, type of pie. I like that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Doc, you gotta pace yourself because it's a lot, but it's fun though. Let's see here. So again, pick one meal, one item from your Thanksgiving menu. Pick one you got to eat. So far it's been a lot of stuffing going on, which is cool. At least London has there you go. At least London macaroni and cheese. Okay, there we go. See, now your shit coming out. Yeah, macaroni and cheese. That's good. I had not prepared macaroni and cheese yet. I mean, I've seen people do it. It's they're master artful. I don't want to mess that up. I have not done it yet. Some people say it's easy, but it's I'm concerned because I don't want to get my family sick. So that's why I'm a cook. I'm limited. I have a couple of days out the week that I cook during the week. I have a limited menu. I really do. I told them from day one, A1, I have a limited menu. So a lot of my stuff could be like repeating. So it's not extensive. But at the same time, I'm learning as I go along. Just start cooking. I just started cooking about 3 years ago. So I do what I can. But ooh wee, yeah, it's yeah, mac and cheese. Oh yeah, that works. Man, I've been losing weight. I've been trying my best to lose weight. I don't want to gain it back again. Let's see. And let's not forget about the eventual itis after a good feast. Well, yeah, that's automatic. Let's say, don't laugh, cranberry sauce, which gets overlooked and makes us mad, and it's not there. Cranberry sauce. Look, Doc, there's always been this argument about cranberry sauce fresh or cranberry sauce out the can with the can wrinkles around it. I go with either or, but I was raised on the can wrinkles around it. Ocean Spray. That's my mom and dad use forever. So it's tight. Obviously, you get it's all gelatin sort of thing. You take it out, and it has what I call the fat rings around it. Yeah, that's the cranberry sauce I like. No offense to the fresh one. I'll take either or, but if I had my druthers, yeah, yeah, the cranberry sauce with the tight, squeezy rings around it. That's what I look forward to. See. Usually, what I would do, I would get that cranberry sauce and put on top of my dressing, and then go for broke. So I had to watch myself. Like I said, I'm trying to continue to lose this weight, but it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. Ocean Spray, big ups. Oh, your Ocean Spray, yeah, they get the job done, Doc. They get it done. Get her done. Get her done. I'm telling you, they don't play. So, like I said, we got the food being prepared right now. I told you about I'll fix the strawberry cake. It's kind of intensive because it's a lot of detail going into it. So it's not just, of course, baking the cake on that, but there's a lot of layers to it. It's a 2-layer cake that my mom originally fixed back in the day. I duplicated years ago, about a couple years ago. So I'm going to do it tonight when we have everything laid out. Giblet gravy. I haven't had giblet gravy. Giblong. No, I haven't had giblet gravy. I got to check it out. So giblet gravy, Lorenzo Times. You didn't grow up right if you don't know the ridges from the can, Jed. Yeah, the ridges from the can, the belt marks, the tire marks, whatever. Yeah, from the can. Oh yeah, that's all I ever saw during the holidays. That's all I ever seen. Lorenzo, I wrote a Thanksgiving blog. Pull it up. So there you go. So as Lorenzo said, he typed the Thanksgiving blog. There it is in the Peanut Gallery. Please check it out and read for yourself and enjoy. Thank you, Lorenzo, for sharing this. Uh, for that click, for everybody to click that over for that link and go over and check it out. Let's see. So yeah, so limited menu indeed. No, look, don't be wrong. I told you when I crossed the sands of cooking. So I crossed the sands because my mom and my dad got arrested. So my dad was excellent cook. My mom still with us. She'll be 90 next month. 90 on December 14th. And so when I noticed she wasn't cooking a lot, the one thing she prided herself on was chicken. That's the way this chicken went. I told you the story. So over the years, I will watch my mom prepare chicken in our house and the season go along with it. So I said, okay, I got to give it a shot. Duplicate the seasoning, flour, the whole thing. The only thing I did differently than my mom would not do, or just because that was her way, I put seasoning on the flour. So the pepper and everything else, the black pepper, I put the seasoning in the flour. A lot of it so it can coat by the time it hits the oil and, of course, when it fries up. Gave it to my mom. My mom took a bite, loved it, and said, "You got it." And that's all I needed. And that was cool in the game. That was great. Sick, happy birthday to Mama Bass in advance. Thank you. I'll definitely pass it on to her. Absolutely. Let's see. Blessings to what is it, Mother Base, Queen Mother. Yeah, yeah, I would definitely pass on the pre-birthday greetings in advance. I told you this is the month I'm broke. December. I told you. My grandbaby, my youngest grandbaby, December 3rd. My mom, December 14th. My oldest daughter, December 24th, Christmas Eve. And of course, a host of family for Christmas presents. Mm-mm. Broke. Broken and broke, y'all. I might even, there's no point in me having the money because I can't even enjoy it. When I get my check, and I can't even enjoy it because it's gone. It's going to be gone, y'all. Be done out of love, but ooh wee. Because sometimes I'll consult what people need for their radio stations or teaching them things about public speaking, things like that. And I'll get a decent check. It's fun from time to time, but I ain't gonna enjoy this one. All that's going to everybody. Everybody. I won't even see it. As soon as I get it, I gotta distribute who gets what. So my youngest grandbaby, Everly, she'll be 4 on December 3rd. Yep. Because the grandbabies are back to back. So Emery's birthday will be coming up next year, and he'll be 5 then. But yeah, they're right there, they're back to back. Those two, boy. They're getting big too. Yeah, he's getting big. Well, his dad is big. Edward is about 6'3", 6'4". So he's big now. Mattia, my daughter, was telling me that when they were, because I told you they live in Arizona, when they went to go trick or treating, a lot of the people went to the door. The parents and the adults was like, "Well, how old is your son there?" He's 4. 4? He's 6, and he does. So you got it honest. Skip generation. My wife was tall. I'm tall. My mom's tall. My sister, like my nephew Caleb, we're about the same height now, but he's surpassing me, which is great. I told you he'd be about 6'6". My grandson, he may be about 6'4", 6'5". So yeah, skip generation because my children, my daughter should have been tall. Mattia is what, 5 feet, and Brianna is 5'7". I think she's cheating on that. I think she really 5'5". I could be lying. She could be. I don't know. I'm 5'7". I don't think so. I don't know. But she claims she's 5'7". So what can I say? Ooh wee. So let's see here. Okay, we'll definitely see. So your grandson's big for his age, isn't he? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, proud of him. Wait a minute. How tall was your wife, Vicky? Okay, so Vic was about 5'9", about 5'9". Yeah, about 5'9", close to 5'10". Yeah. hmm So let's see. 'Cause we met in high school. We met. I was about 5'8", 5'9" myself, and then I had a growth spurt, and so I got about 5'11", 6 feet by that point in high school. So, yeah, so Vic was about 5'8", 5'9". Yeah. So we thought that our children, would be tall. A couple of shorties. Ain't nothing wrong with shorties. I mean, my daughters, I love them, but they're short. Like Brianna's kind of tall. I guess she keeps claiming this 5'7" stuff. No, what I don't like. Hold on 1 second. She always talked about she was taller than my mom. Now I noticed, and including myself, when you get older, I think you shrink. I think you start to shrink a little bit. So my mom looked like she got a little bit shorter, but she's still tall for her age. I feel like I'm shrinking a little bit. Not down there. No, I don't have shrinkage down there. But as far as like height is concerned, let's see. Okay, so what you're sending a blessing message to you for the second verse Timothy. Okay, thankful to God, whom I serve with a clear conscience, as my ancestors did. I remember you in my prayers, as I do continue was a constantly night and day. Oh, well, thank you for that. Yeah, New England. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Lorenzo. How tall was Vic Bar Virginia? I say about 5'9", 5'10". Mostly 5'9". It depends. She wasn't a heel person with the heels on, but yeah, I'd say about 5'9", and yeah. But again, tall. And that's correct. People shrink in height when they start aging. You got that right. Damn. I don't need that because I was proud of my height. Because again, because everybody thought I was going to be taller than my parents. Everybody thought that I was going to be about 6'4" when I was a kid. So I didn't make 6'4", but I made 6 feet. So that's cool for me. I was just cool just to have the growth spurt. Now some of my contemporaries are going around that I was at the time they had a taller growth spurt. But I didn't care. But I made 6 feet. I was cool. I was an athlete because I played basketball. So basketball, you want that height, but you had the talent to go along with it. Then there you go. Talent on my side, I mean, I was a good shooter, but I wasn't good defensively. So I can admit that. Let's see. Have to jump off to cook and enjoy the blessings, everyone. Lorenzo, you're a man for all seasons. Thank you so much, brother. Happy holidays to you and your family, and enjoy. Thank you so much. John Witherspoon talked about how tall in his youth he was 6'1", but in his latter years he shrunk to 5'10". Yeah, late great John Witherspoon. Yeah, he's absolutely correct. Which it goes along with age. It just goes along with it. It is what it is. But man, no, I don't want to shrink anymore. Height wise, I don't need that. Mm-mm. Oh, doc, I earned this 6 feet. I did. Like I said, you're in school or outside of school. You're playing basketball and stuff like that. I can never dunk. Every now and again, I surprise myself in the midst of playing, and you're hyped up, and the ankles don't want to give you any problems. Mine have ankle problem, but still, just the fact that you just do it, and you did. And a couple of times, I would dunk and surprise my own self. I didn't have hops like that, but every now and again, you surprise yourself. That was always cool. But it's always melancholy during this time of year too, because I think about my good friend Ben Wilson, and I remember when I was subbing on the air at WLSAM, I always told the stories about me and Benji, and it was Ben Wilson who, back in the '80s, ranked number one boys basketball player in the nation, from Chicago, South Side, went to Simeon, 6'8", had a handle, had a wicked outside shot. Dude was just super bad, and got shot and killed. ESPN did a 30 for 30 on him. It was around this time of year that it had happened, in November of 1984. No matter how old I get, it's always going to hurt because that's what pain does. Let's see, Barbara Jean. Butterball operators or customer service are standing by for your Butterball turkey questions. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Ask about questions about your turkey and things like that. Oh, yeah. I remember that 30 for 30, rest in peace, Ben Wilson, Sick Diggy Types. It was a wonderful documentary. It really was. It really capitalized how the '80s were back then, how we were back then as teenagers. It really was like looking into a time capsule and watching your life come back to you. It was a lot of fun and a lot of pain. 6'8" is tall. That was tragic. Yeah, I told you a story. We went to grammar school together. So I transferred to Ruggles in my 8th year to 8th grade. Not yeah, 8th grade, and I graduated from Ruggles because a lot of people that went to Ruggles went to my church. So I went there, graduated, and while I was there, I met Ben Wilson, and Ben and I would go back and forth because I would stick him when we played basketball outside of Ruggles. A couple of goals there, in the back. And we would play during recess, and yeah, so we played during the 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. recess, and then during lunchtime. And we weren't tall then. I mean, we were okay, like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", that type of area. I had to stick Ben, and Ben was giving me the business then. So I knew he was going to be great. I didn't know I know get that tall because let's see. So again, we graduated. He went to Simeon. I saw him after graduation. One time he was 6'3". The next time he was 6'8". And we both went to summer school together. The last time I saw him was at summer school before he got killed and shot and killed. But yeah, he was the real deal. He was the truth. By the way, I'll never call Barbara Jean. Yes, we know Barbara Jean. She'll never call. And I told you guys the story before. Barbara Jean is a fantastic friend, some fantastic supporter of this show and everything I've done over the years, a proponent of what I do. Love her more. But she made it very, very clear, I'm not going to call into your show, which you can't blame her because she's being real from the get-go. So I would not call your show, which kind of hurts a little bit. It did back then, but she made it clear, I'm not going to call your show. I might call on your birthday and during Christmas, the holiday season. Other than that, you won't hear from Barbara Jean at all. So she didn't call for my birthday. She didn't call me at all. Not at all. So I ain't holding my breath next month. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. What's up, Diane? Diane D says, Base, happy Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to you too. Oh, well, I know you were on here earlier. What's the one Thanksgiving meal that you would eat off the menu? So if you could pick one Thanksgiving meal to eat off your menu, what would it be? So we had macaroni and cheese on here. I mentioned about my mom's meat dressing. Lorenzo talking about cornbread dressing he would eat that his mom would fix. So again, Diane, everybody else didn't participate. What's the one meal that you would have off the Thanksgiving menu? Barbara Jean, I love me some you. I love you more. Thank you, Barbara Jean. That's the one meal. So yeah, going back to Benji. So back in LS, when I was sub, I always told the story about knowing Ben Wilson. And a lot of people start to vibe towards that and was really sympathetic because, and I wasn't looking for sympathy, mind you. I was just telling the story because it's November, no matter what year it was, and I was reminded of that. Happens every year. But the 30 for 30 was pretty accurate. I don't think the person who shot and killed Benji, I don't think he really is remorseful. He got out. I think it was all an act. That's the way it came off to me, and I don't think he was remorseful at all. Or you can check out the video for yourself. Once again, it's about Ben Wilson, Benji, 30 for 30, ESPN. Let's see. One dish, yams or sweet potatoes. Okay, so, all right, so you're talking about yams. Okay. Yams is good for the one meal Diane would select. Yams. It's funny because when I look online, and I said it myself over the years, that's what we call female thighs. Yams. I'm not trying to offend or unnerve. It's, oh man, look at them yams. That's what we will say. Yams. Yeah, man. Ooh, let's see. I love that documentary about Benji Wilson, Diane Tice. It really was. It was, and Diane knows because Diane and I are the same age, and we met at Kenwood Academy. Again, she's the godmother to my girls. Yes, it transported you into time. It was like watching your whole life in front of you back in the 80s and South Side Chicago, the whole thing. It was really done well. Anytime a doc can do that for me as a viewer, yeah, I was transported. I was transported. Man, I was wearing Nikes again and things like that. Man. I don't remember my shoe anyway since I was, in high school. Nike. So again, we talking about Kenwood Academy, and all high school has some sort of fashion thing going on. So back then, we were into Izod polo shirts, K-Swiss tennis shoes, Stan Smith tennis shoes. I would say I was a shoe freak. So uh, Converse's, Nikes, the whole nine. Pony was a good, not good. That was a good shoe, but it kind of fell off a little bit. Adidas. I wasn't really an Adidas person, so there you go. Of course, as a kid, you always remember what Adidas stood for. Adidas, all day I dream about sex. That was supposed to be the acronym for Adidas. Now they were right about that. Me being in high school, yeah, all day I dream about sex. Got that right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm a virgin, but I dream about sex, which is correct. It was an enlightenment to watch the documentary. It's hard for me to go back and watch it again because it hurts. Even when I was watching it in real time for the first time, because again, I wanted to watch it because they put it together, and I was curious to see how it had come out. But it was a fantastic, fantastic display of who he was and what he went through, and it humanized, I believe, Benji, and it gave me a lot of thoughts just knowing him. Let's see. I love the way that it covered, yep, the YBI tournaments in back of Kenwood. It was so chilling when they spoke to the guy who shot Benji. Yeah, like I said, it came off to me that the guy who shot Benji was not remorseful. I really just in my heart and in my soul, I don't believe him a bit. I don't. I do not. So like I said he was released. He got out eventually, but I don't believe he really was remorseful and felt bad about killing Benji. I don't believe it. Chris, recently on YouTube, I was watching, let's see, a documentary about the rise and fall of pony gym shoes. Interesting. Yeah, I had a pair of ponies when I was in 8th grade, and then by the time I got to high school, I switched to Nike. So yeah, I didn't have them for long. It was a good shoe, mind you, very popular. But yeah, I wasn't into ponies that long. Plus, the hospital was terrible and incompetent in treating him. Oh my God! Look, see now you're hitting a nerve. Okay, so I got the call from a friend of mine that said Benji was shot. So I got the call and I'm watching the news. Now, mind you, this is before cable, before social media, the whole nine. This was the 80s. So I'm watching the news. I remember I took my blanket and I slept up front. I wanted to keep watching. They did have like a nightly news on WGN TV, but I wanted to keep up with what was going on with Benji. So then there were the rumors before. So St. Bernard Hospital, I mean, really was horrible. They could not handle a trauma situation like that. They have a trauma center now, but they didn't have one back then. So they could have saved them. They were saying that if they saved them, where the bullet was lodged, they wouldn't walk again. So all these things were going on in real time. Once I'm talking to my friends, I went to sleep, and of course the TV back then used to go off at 3 a.m. Sometimes 2 or 3, depending on the station itself. You see the test pattern. It was signed back on at 6 a.m. And then when they did, that's when I got the news that Benji had died. It didn't make sense then, and it never makes sense now, and never will. When you're 17, 18 years old, you don't think about death. You feel like you're immortal. You feel like you live forever. You're young and you're strong, and the future is right in front of you. But then when somebody's future is literally cut short and their future is gone and they're gone. I remember the Sun Times paper had an editorial. It had a picture, a caricature of the back of Benji walking with a basketball underneath his arm, and he's walking towards the light. And I remember it said, "It seems that only the good die young." Broke me up. But yeah, St. Bernard's, they did a horrible job. They did. Hold on one second. Hey, close this door for me. Hey, Caleb. Yeah. Hello, hello. How you doing? Be careful. Be careful. Go back in there. All right, go on. All right, hey man, get your ass out of here. Go on back out of here. Okay, get out of here. Okay. Yeah. Well, as you heard, the nephew and niece are down here about to cook his cake, and I got to cook my cake as well. And so yeah, you heard the big mouth right there. He's quiet now. That's what man. Get your ass out of here. I got time for you. And all the after all the big mouth you was doing earlier. Sick. I grew up with Adidas, Puma, Fila, Reebok, and Nike. I also remember LA Gear and British Knights. Yeah, those I didn't get into all those. Yeah, yeah. But those, I mean, Reebok was a good shoe too. The pump, yeah, that was pretty nice. Benji's life was cut short over some 85 stuff. What is that? What a cute voice. Oh, you talking about Mama? Yeah, well, he wasn't here earlier when I was doing the show and I signed on, and she was upstairs crying for Jesus. And her mouth is very, very big, and it penetrates to the point where people, because Sick can attest to it, can hear. Because I'm downstairs here in the base cave, in my area of the house, and you can hear her big ass mouth from upstairs uh, coming down here. It's not so cute. It's not so cute at all. Big mouth. Ooh, wait. It sounds cute, yeah, but let her start calling Jesus. Oh, you forget it. Closer to my God to thee. Ooh, really? So there you go. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, let me take off. I stay a little longer because I know it's holiday season. Want to make sure I get a chance to say hello and interact with everybody who come on board here for Thanksgiving. So have not decided if I'm going to do a post Thanksgiving show for Baseline. I've not decided yet because it depends on how I feel. So I'll let you know about that via social media, obviously, in the near future. But for now, I'm wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you break bread with your family and friends. Take the time to really understand that I believe in the times we're living in now that we need each other and we need to break bread and we need to bond and we need to realize that all we have is each other. If you have one person in your life, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. And you have the quality of a person. Quantity sometimes is okay, but the quality should be first and foremost. Enjoy, be peaceful, be loving, be respectable, and make it worthwhile. Continue to be safe, continue to be sound, continue to be healthy, and most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. More power to you. Have a very peaceful Thanksgiving weekend, holiday, tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves. As always, keep your head up.